This week, I'm bringing you a true classic from the 50s with 50s talking, 50s suits, 50s guns, and not a whole lot of scares. That's right, we're talking House on Haunted Hill from 1959. Now, this movie starts and its opening is iconic. First, we get the owner of the house saying he's only spent one night in the house and was scared out of his wits. Then we get Vincent Price introducing us to all the characters. He's an eccentric millionaire offering all the characters in this movie $10,000 if they spend one night in this haunted house. And we meet all of them. From Lance, who's a test pilot, to the owner who's coming back, to Ruth, who's a journalist, and then there's Nora, who works for him but supports her whole family. And then there's someone else, I think, but I don't remember who he is. Must not have done anything. And then they go into the house. And then we get a tour of the house. We see there's a blood stain on the ceiling and the blood drips down on Ruth. And the owner says now she's marked. And the ghosts want her now. And then we go down in the basement where they show a vat of acid in the floor where a guy killed a woman. That is still there. You'd think they'd want to clean that vat of acid up, but apparently they just want to keep it as a tourist destination. Which Nora almost falls into. But then her and Lance have a little talk time in the basement. Well, they call it a cellar, but a cellar is a basement and a basement is a cellar. So, they're the same thing. And then Lance gets locked into a room where someone attacks him. And Nora sees a woman and freaks out. Then we go upstairs where they're all talking again. Now, all Ruth does in this movie is smoke and drink, so she must have died shortly afterwards. Now, the owner just keeps drinking and talking about ghosts in this movie. That's all he does. So we're moving on. And Nora and Lance go back in the basement. And they're trying to check out how Lance got locked in. And they're knocking on the walls and they're trying to figure out. And Nora sees the woman again. This time frightens her again. And we go up and Vincent Price keeps trying to get his wife, Annabelle, to come down to the party. And they're arguing. And you can tell this is not a happy marriage. He should make his wife happy. Give her a dildo. Because though Vincent Price might actually know how to please a woman, he probably doesn't know how to please this woman, because this woman looks like a total, Karen. I guess she tried to poison him at one point to get his money since he's an eccentric millionaire. Which I guess when you're a millionaire, you've really got to be careful about who you marry. If I was a millionaire, I wouldn't marry anyone. I'd just leave all my money to cats. Just have a bunch of cats running around my house and be like, I leave my millions to my cats. And the cats could like tie ropes around my body and like make me think I'm alive still. So, it'd be like that Rick and Morty movie trailer. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Weekend at Bernie's, only Bernie's a human, and probably people trying to think he's alive are cats. It would be an epic. That would be an epic movie. So back to the movie, and Nora keeps getting scared. She sees a head in her suitcase, and now she wants to leave. But the caretakers lock the door early, and no one gets to leave. So Vincent Price and his wife introduce party favors in the form of guns and coffins. Guns. Back in the 50s, guns solved all problems. I mean, they sure as hell solved the Vietnam War, didn't they? Wait, that was the 60s. 60s guns did not solve all problems. In the 50s, guns solved all problems. All problems were solved in the 50s by guns. Kids in trouble at school, gun will solve that problem. House is on fire, gun will solve that problem. Car's not running, gun will solve that problem. Guns solved all problems in the 50s. They were magic. So they've all got guns now. And Nora's hiding in her room. And all of a sudden they find Vincent Price's wife hanging. She hung herself. At least that's what it looks like. And she's dead. So Vincent Price is like so young, so sad. So they move on. Nora is revealed that Mr. Loren, Vincent Price's character, tried to kill her. At least she thinks he did. She wasn't sure because it was dark. So Lance is trying to find a way to escape the house, which there's no escape. Just like in space, there's no escape. I mean, there is escape in space. You can obviously escape into space and go wherever you want into space. Put a spacesuit out and walk out the whole door and you escape into space. But who wants to be in space? So there's no escape. So then Nora freaks out because she sees Vincent Price's dead wife outside her window, feeding a rope to her. So she freaks out and takes off running with her gun. Well, then the organ starts playing itself. Now, this part is never explained in the movie how the organ starts playing itself. But I'm guessing it's a player organ. That or Invisible Lurch. Now, Vincent Price and the doctor psychiatrist character, who I think I forgot to mention earlier, who is studying hysteria and doesn't believe in ghosts, decide to go check it out. The doctor psychiatrist character is taking the upper floor, Vincent Price is taking the lower floor. So Vincent Price goes to check the lower floor. The doctor psychiatrist character goes into the room with Vincent Price's wife, and it's revealed that his wife is alive. And they're in cahoots to kill Vincent Price and frame Nora so that it looks like she killed him. So she kills him in her hysteria so they can get away with his money. So we don't actually see any ghosts in this movie. The woman she keeps seeing is the blind caretaker's wife. There are no actual ghosts in this movie. There's no actual haunting going on in this movie. It's actually just kind of a movie. So there's mention of there's mentioning of ghosts throughout the movie. There's no actual ghosts in this movie. So Vincent Price is checking out the lower floors and goes into the cellar where Nora is. Nora fires, seemingly killing him, and then runs away. Well, the doctor, the psychiatrist, comes downstairs, and the lights go out, and we hear a splash into the acid. Then Vincent Price's wife comes downstairs, looking around for the doctor, but she looks in the acid, and a skeleton rises up from the acid, talking in Vincent Price's voice, and then knocks her into the acid. And then it's revealed that Vincent Price was controlling the skeleton like a puppet, and he's alive all along. Then Nora and the rest of the group come downstairs that are still alive, and Vincent Price reveals that the doctor and his wife were trying to kill him, and that they fell into the acid. And Nora's like, "But I shot you." And he's like, "No, I filled your gun with blanks." And then the drunk guy, who's the owner, who all he does is drink throughout this movie, he makes the Irish look like they have no alcohol tolerance. All he does is drink. Says, "Now there are 9 dead bodies in this house." And that, my friends, is House on Haunted Hill, 1959. There was both a colorized and a black and white version. I watched the colorized version. I have nothing against black and white movies. Don't give me that. I like black and white movies. Just, I chose to watch the colorized version. I don't know why. This is available on Prime. It's available on Tubi. It's available on Pluto. It's available on YouTube. It's probably available a ton of other places because it's public domain movie now. So go out and watch it. It's not that scary. It's a pretty good movie, though. There are no actual ghosts in it, but is entertaining. And you get to see Vincent Price, who looks like a freaking giant compared to these people. And there's lots of 50s talking, in that style of talking people in the 50s talk like. Like, nobody in the 50s talked like that, though, I'm afraid to say. So go out and watch it. Suits, 50s talking, no ghosts, lots of guns. Check it out. House on Haunted Hill, 1959. Yes, I know there's a remake. That's it for this week.